and welcome to my channel. I'm April Honey, and today we are going to be making a water path. For as long as I can remember, since I started making custom codes, I've been asked if I was going to do a water path. I was asked so many times and I always had it on my list, but finally it is here. I have gotten to it and we are starting. So the first thing I wanted to do was make a blue color palette. I'll put it down in the description if you would like to use it. I did use a couple because I uploaded a couple versions of this path in order to have two different color variations in case future me wanted to use it, because that will happen sometimes too. This path is going to be the kind that looks like pool water, almost like the clear sparkly kind of water. I will make a more swampy code that doesn't have like the little waves or the disturbances on top, that's a little more flat in the future. But for my purposes, for what I needed on this island, this kind of water path was going to serve me a little better. I wanted it to be a 9-piece path, but I wanted the water to actually blend in with grass, even though everyone seems to use them with sand. I wanted a water path over the grass for this one area on my island. Yeah, I made a 3-hour code just for one tiny little area on my island. And I'm so sorry if you hear my son just playing us the bongos of his people. It was really the only way to get him occupied, and he's a happy camper right now, and I don't really want to disturb the peace. So we have just the shadows of like the water waves on the bottom, and like pretty much just know where your light source is and copy the lines that you make on top and make them a little bit off. Like, don't do it so perfectly where you're exactly copying the lines on top, but kind of follow that as a guide in order to make the shadows of those waves. Make sure that everything is going to line up on both sides. So you want the edges of all of the waves and waters and things, you want them to go from one side to the other if you're going to lay this path next to each other. And I do recommend just making it easier on yourself and having one solid base, because you intermix which tile is next to what. So you know that if you have this base that all can continuously flow, that it's going to be okay no matter what you do with it after that. I did turn this turquoisey because for a minute I was like, maybe I want it turquoise. So we went ahead and we did this. I kind of like it. I did end up uploading this version as well. I wanted to make some white kind of edging on the water in order to kind of blend it back into the grass. And then I turned around and I made clear pixels through, and I threaded them through those little wave splatters so that it'll kind of blend into the dirt. And I just did that around the entire perimeter of this 9-piece path. Make sure you go all the way up to the very, very top edge when you're doing this in order for the pieces to go together seamlessly and to not like have any jarring differentials when you place them next to each other. You want everything to start and end on the same line, so that way everything will place together nicely. It's very, very important. I say it a lot when I make dirt path tutorials. It still holds true for the water. It is really important that you kind of maintain that one little detail so that all of your codes will go together. I am so sorry if I sound just a little bit congested. I had an allergy attack right before I was going to record, of course, because that always seems to happen to me. So I always come to you guys sounding like I'm a little bit congested, and I'm so sorry about that. I don't know what it is about the Texas mornings that are really messing with my allergies, but every time I'm going to record, it never fails. I sneeze like 25 times beforehand, and then if I put it off, I end up putting it off for like days and days, and I no longer remember what I did in order to be able to talk about it. So then that's not really a very helpful video. So we're just going to do all of the corners and all of the edges, and I'm just kind of threading this lacy kind of pattern over. I am gonna do one that's a little more smooth, like the way the ocean comes and lays down, but I wanted this one to be a little more splashy almost. I am going to copy kind of the ocean water from the beach at some point and do that code as well. But it'll probably be after a grass path and after a city street, which are also pretty high up on my list of things that I should make for people. So as soon as I get through, I have a list, you guys. Whenever you guys ask me for a custom code, if I hear it more than once or twice, then I definitely put it on my list, and like I have intentions of making all of them. I am trying to get to them as quickly as possible. Unfortunately, some of that has to do with whether or not the code is going to be useful on my island. On my last island, I actually made my island based on the codes that I was supposed to be making. So I kind of worked around what the custom codes everyone wanted was in order to make my island or do my island builds. And I kind of built around that. I might do that on one more island as well in order to knock out some of the custom codes. And hopefully you guys find that helpful. Right now, we are just filling in the water and making it look kind of whimsical, and we want some of those edges to be watery and some of them to not be watery, and we just want to have a good variation. Remember that this is going to be very flowy, so you want it as rounded in all the ways as possible. You don't want the edges to look sharp or pointy in any way, because that's not what water does. It doesn't make angles, it just makes roundness. It's a very round element, right? Liquid. So we want to make sure that we honor that liquid nature of water. As we continue on, you can put lots of items in this if you'd like. You can put like rubber duckies or like fish or whatever you want in it. I didn't put anything in mine just because I don't have one that calls for it. Although when I do make the flatter, swampier one, it's going to have a lot of flowers and weeds and growth in it. This one in particular did not call for that, but that's entirely a personal decision. Of course, I will leave the creator code down in the description below, and you're more than welcome to just use the one that I make if you'd like. There's a million great water paths out there, some way better than mine. But in case you're interested in learning how to make your own, the pixels will be over in the Discord, and you're more than welcome to just copy the ones that I put out myself, or you can just take the code or any combination of those things. I found that when I want to recreate my older codes that I don't quite remember how I made, I download them, I place them down, and then I copy, and then I try to copy what I see and then just compare them until it looks about right. So it's not an exact science. I mean, it is water. It doesn't have to be perfect. It really doesn't. And I wouldn't pressure myself, honestly. You guys, this is one of those codes where it gets easier with time, and you can make adjustments to it as you go along, and it will be absolutely fine. I definitely adjust a lot of my pathing as I go along. I find that certain parts of it don't serve me and don't serve the build, and I just adjust them and change them a little bit. It is the beauty of making your own codes, is that you can make adjustments and you can grow. So I just did some edges. They're just cleared out edges to match if you wanted to put them next to each other. I like having inner corners. These aren't necessary, but they are helpful. And that actually is it. Hopefully you guys liked it. You have to let me know if you make it yourself. But this is how the finished pattern turned out. Hopefully you guys like it. Hopefully you guys make one that you like. I know you guys could be doing absolutely anything in the entire world, and you chose to hang out with me, and I appreciate you so much for that. I will see you in the next one. Bye.